Continuing from the previous chapter, Xiao Yan learned that Ziyin was in trouble and rushed to the primordial ancient dragon clan to rescue her. At the netherworld vein, Yao Ming and his companions watched in astonishment as Xiao Yan and his partner suddenly ripped through the void space and vanished. They clearly didn't understand why the two left in such a hurry. The void space is the territory of the primordial ancient dragon clan. Seeing brother Xiao Yan so anxious, could it be that another dispute has arisen within the ancient dragon clan? Yao Ming wasn't foolish. After a brief moment of thought, he grasped the situation. However, with the mess still at hand, he couldn't leave. He could only hope that Xiao Yan and Kai Lin's abilities would be enough to solve this problem. When you two fight to the point of mutual destruction, it will benefit my heavenly demon phoenix clan in the end. In the sky, Huang Tian looked at the spot where Xiao Yan and his partner had disappeared and sneered. Without further delay, he shouted coldly and swiftly retreated. The strong members of the heavenly demon phoenix clan hurriedly followed, looking somewhat dejected. Everyone knew that if Xiao Yan and Kai Lin hadn't left suddenly, these guys would have had a hard time escaping unscathed today. The 9 Nether-Earth Underworld Python clan did not stop the heavenly demon phoenix clan's retreat. They breathed a sigh of relief and began to clean up the aftermath of the battle. In the void space, chaotic space currents appeared silently like the gaping mouth of a hidden demon, shredding everything they touched. In the silent void, 2 streaks of rainbow light suddenly flashed by at high speed, the fierce airflow they created roaring through the space. Pushing his speed to the limit, Xiao Yan's face was grim. Since defeating the 3 Dragon Kings last time, the situation for the Eastern Dragon Island within the primordial ancient dragon clan had improved significantly. With the current trend, unification wasn't impossible. Of course, the 3 Dragon Kings who escaped injured could pose some obstacles, but given their strength, they shouldn't be a significant problem. This was what Xiao Yan had always thought, but the current situation made him realize he had underestimated its complexity. The dragon seal is fading. Ziyan's condition seems extremely dire. Damn it, what happened to the ancient dragon clan? The direction of the dragon seal's signal isn't from Eastern Dragon Island, so Ziyan shouldn't be there either. Clenching his fist, Xiao Yan suppressed his rage, flapping the green-red bone wings on his back to increase his speed, racing madly towards the direction indicated by the dragon seal. Behind him, Kai Lin saw his urgency and could only shake her head helplessly. Without saying much, she followed closely. Somewhere in the void space, a bloody aura surged, the stench of blood so strong that it could be smelled from thousands of miles away. The source of the bloody light was a gigantic island floating in the void. The island was covered in a crimson hue, as if soaked in blood, giving it a particularly eerie appearance. Far above the island, numerous figures densely surrounded it, sealing it off completely. These people looked terrified and grim, their gazes filled with anger as they looked towards the Dragon Island. The Dragon Transformation Demon Array. That scoundrel, Northern Dragon King. This is a forbidden technique of the ancient dragon clan. It was destroyed thousands of years ago. How could he possibly cast it? An old man with white hair and beard roared angrily above the giant island. Hearing his roar, the elders of Eastern Dragon Island fell silent. They had only heard of this forbidden technique. The one who managed the secret techniques of the ancient dragon clan back then was the Northern Dragon King's great-grandfather. He was also the one who supposedly destroyed the Dragon Transformation Demon Array. However, whether he secretly kept it is unknown. Elder Zhu Li hesitated for a moment before speaking. The Dragon Transformation Demon Array was a forbidden technique of the primordial ancient dragon clan, created by an extraordinarily powerful clan member. Once the array was formed, everyone within it except for the array's core would be crushed into blood, which the core would then absorb. This greatly enhanced the core's power, but due to its bloody and cruel nature, it was banned and destroyed. No one expected that the Northern Dragon King could still use it. What made people's skin crawl was that the Northern Dragon King had activated the array directly on Northern Dragon Island. Due to the 3-island alliance, many strong individuals from the 3 sides were gathered there. As a result, most of the strong ones on the island, except for a few, were turned into blood and absorbed by the Northern Dragon King, who was the core. After consuming so many clan members, the Northern Dragon King's power had grown to a terrifying level. Haha, you little brat. I originally planned to let you live a bit longer, but you dared to lead your people here. Fine, I was short of sacrifices. If I consume you, my bloodline will surpass all previous members of the primordial ancient dragon clan. Haha, then I will be the greatest in the history of the clan. The dense bloody light filled the entire island. As Zhu Li and the others dared not approach, mad laughter echoed from within the light. A terrifying energy fluctuation spread out, and two fiercely fighting figures emerged from the blood mist, catching everyone's attention. One of the figures was Ziyin. However, she was not in good shape, her face pale and her breath weak. In her hand, the Dragon Slayer's sword, which resembled a liquid, was summoned again. But it was clear that its power was not as strong as before. Opposite Ziyin stood a humanoid figure with a massive build and muscles that wriggled under the skin like living things. Blood oozed from his pores, making him look like a blood-soaked monster. On his shoulders was an unusually large head with 3 faces, which were shockingly the faces of the Western Dragon King, the Southern Dragon King, and the Northern Dragon King. The 3 faces grinned, blood trickling from their mouths. The 6 scarlet eyes were filled with beast-like ferocity. In the monster's hand was a giant sword resembling liquid gold mixed with blood. When it clashed with Ziyin's Dragon Slayer sword, it produced a metallic sound and did not seem to be at a disadvantage. In fact, it occasionally forced Ziyin into dangerous situations with gusts of foul wind. Northern Dragon King, you beast. The Western Dragon King and the Southern Dragon King were your allies, yet you devoured their bodies and souls, becoming this monster. Ziyin glared at the blood-soaked monster, cursing furiously. Those 2 were useless and severely injured by you. Even if they recovered, they would be worthless. Better to benefit me. Although I ate their flesh, I promised to avenge them. The Northern Dragon King's face on the monster's head laughed maniacally. The giant sword in his hand slashed at Ziyin like lightning. The terrifying wind forced Ziyin to retreat step by step. After consuming the Western and Southern Dragon Kings and many other strong ones through the Dragon Transformation Demon Array, the Northern Dragon King's power far surpassed Ziyin's. If not for some fear of the Dragon Slayer's sword in her hand, Ziyin would have long been dead. Facing the Northern Dragon King's frantic attacks, Ziyin gritted her teeth and held on. Due to the Dragon Transformation Demon Array, the strong ones of Eastern Dragon Island did not dare step inside, fearing they would be turned into blood, only adding to the Northern Dragon King's power. Northern Dragon King, using the Dragon Transformation Demon Array, you will eventually lose your sanity and become a beast driven only by slaughter. A beast? So be it. Only I can unite the primordial ancient dragon clan. Only I can be the Dragon Emperor. The Northern Dragon King's face on the monster's head laughed maniacally. Suddenly, he grabbed 3 ancient dragon clan members from the ground with his hand and threw them at Ziyin as weapons. Dragon Emperor, you want to save people, don't you? I'll let you save them all. Watching the figures wrapped in bloody light rushing towards her, Ziyin gritted her teeth, quickly darting forward. Her jade-like palm struck the 3 people with lightning speed, dispersing the eerie blood light with a surge of golden light. Then, with a push of dark force, she sent the 3 people out of the Dragon Transformation Demon Array. What a noble Dragon Emperor! I almost feel reluctant to kill you, the Northern Dragon King sneered. As soon as Ziyin sent the 3 away, he appeared before her like a ghost. His sinister face twisted into a grotesque smile, and his blood-covered hand struck Ziyin's shoulder with lightning speed. The terrifying force surged through Ziyin's body, and the corrosive blood energy caused intense pain. She spat out a mouthful of blood, her delicate body flying backward amidst many anxious gazes. It's all over. The primordial ancient dragon clan is mine. The Northern Dragon King shouted crazily, looking at the now utterly weakened Ziyin. With a sinister laugh, he stepped forward and reached for her head. Outside the blood array, the strong members of Eastern Dragon Island were horrified, their eyes turning blood-red at the sight. Ha! The Northern Dragon King laughed maniacally, his hand speeding towards Ziyin's head. However, Just as his hand was about to touch her, a pink flame suddenly rose from her head. The terrifying heat caused his hand to stop abruptly in midair. His expression turned grim as he slowly looked up towards the void ahead. "Xiao Yan, come out!" The Northern Dragon King's roar echoed through the blood array, spreading far and wide. As soon as his shout ended, the pink flame on Ziyan's head rapidly expanded, forming a fire shield that enveloped her. The surrounding blood mist sizzled and dissipated upon contact with the shield. "Northern Dragon King, it's indeed you causing trouble," a voice rang out as the fire shield took shape. The space beside Ziyan rippled, and two figures slowly emerged. It was Xiao Yan and Kai Lin, who had arrived at full speed. "It's Xiao Yan!" The sudden appearance of Xiao Yan and Kai Lin immediately caught the attention of the Eastern Dragon Island clan members outside the array. Cheers of joy erupted, but the elders quickly grew serious again. Despite knowing from their previous encounter that Xiao Yan was a Do Sheng, the current situation was so dire that even an ordinary Do Sheng would find only a path to death here. As they thought of this, many people's hearts sank slightly. Huang Tian really is useless, managing to delay for such a short time, the Northern Dragon King said, breaking the silence. His crimson eyes fixed on Xiao Yan, licking the blood from his lips as he sneered, "But it doesn't matter now. The tide has turned, and your presence here only serves to add to my sacrifices." Xiao Yan remained calm, casting a glance at the Northern Dragon King. His gaze paused on the three eerie faces on the Dragon King's head. With his soul perception, Xiao Yan immediately sensed the source of the Dragon King's sudden surge in power. He frowned, realizing just how ruthless the Dragon King had become. As Xiao Yan frowned, Ziyan, standing beside him, suddenly coughed up blood. Her face turned as pale as a sheet. Blood quickly spread from her shoulder, corroding her body. Despite her Dragon Phoenix constitution fighting back, the waves of pain made her face even paler. Having been infected by the Dragon Transformation Demon Array's blood essence, even with your Dragon Phoenix body, it's still a dire situation. The Northern Dragon King laughed wildly. He had turned nearly all the members of Northern Dragon Island into blood, paying a horrific price to regain control. Seeing Ziyan so weak filled him with a twisted satisfaction. "Why are you here?" Ziyan wiped the blood from her mouth, her pale face heart-wrenching to see. She looked at Xiao Yan and his companion with dim eyes, saying bitterly, "This time, it won't be as easy as before." After consuming the blood and flesh of the Southwest Dragon King and many clan members, that guy has almost reached the level of a 6-star Do Sheng. A 6-star Do Sheng. Although Ziyan had also improved her strength over the past 2 years, she had not broken through to the 5-star Do Sheng level. Even with her Dragon Phoenix body, defeating the Northern Dragon King again was impossible. The gap was just too vast. Xiao Yan smiled at her without responding, gently placing his hand on Ziyan's blood-soaked shoulder. A faint pink flame flickered into existence. "Trying to expel the Dragon Transformation blood essence? Do you think you're—" The Northern Dragon King sneered, but his laughter quickly turned to astonishment as he saw the blood essence rapidly rising from Ziyan's shoulder, eventually turning to nothingness. Heavenly flame? The Northern Dragon King's crimson eyes flashed with surprise. Only now did he realize that the heavenly flame in Xiao Yan's hands seemed different from what he had seen in the past. Xiao Yan ignored the Northern Dragon King, guiding the pure lotus demon flame through Ziyan's body, swallowing and evaporating all the Dragon Transformation blood essence. Only then did he slowly withdraw his hand. As the blood essence dissipated from her body, a bit of color returned to Ziyan's face, but she still looked extremely weak. To Xiao Yan and Kai Lin's amazement, her body began to shrink, and in just a moment, she reverted to her previous appearance as a little girl. "Too weak, I can only revert to my most energy-efficient form," Ziyan said with a bitter smile. "Hee, this way you're even cuter," Xiao Yan said, patting her head. "You and Kai Lin should leave first. I'll handle things here." Ziyan hesitated but then bit her lip, saying, "He's very strong." "I never act recklessly," Xiao Yan replied with a smile. Seeing his smiling face, Ziyan suddenly realized that Xiao Yan had once again surpassed her in strength, bringing a hint of joy to her small face. Do you need my help? Kailin asked softly. If the mutated Northern Dragon King indeed had the power of a 6-star Dosheng, Xiao Yan alone might not be enough. Concern flashed in her eyes. He's not a true 6-star Dosheng. Defeating him is not impossible. There are still many members of the ancient dragon clan within the array. While I hold him off, you should get them out. Otherwise, he can continuously absorb their blood essence to maintain his peak combat strength, Xiao Yan said calmly. Understood. Kailin nodded, quickly grabbing Ziyin and flashing out of the blood array. They appeared in front of the elders of Eastern Dragon Island, who rushed forward in worry. If anything happened to Ziyin, the ancient dragon clan might never have a chance to reunify. Seeing Kailin and Ziyin leave, the Northern Dragon King made no move to stop them. In his eyes, it merely extended their lives for a brief moment. Once he dealt with Xiao Yan, he would devour everyone here, one by one. The thought of that surge in power brought a terrifying grin to his face. Your flesh has a peculiar taste, similar to dragon phoenix flesh, but even more delicious, the Northern Dragon King said, extending his crimson tongue to lick the blood from his face. His gaze, burning with a special intensity, locked onto Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's eyes lifted slightly. He knew exactly what the Northern Dragon King was referring to. The unique taste came from the 3 bloodlines within him. Ignoring the Dragon King's perverse craving, Xiao Yan raised his hand. Pink flames slowly spread from his body, evaporating the encroaching blood essence into nothingness with their intense heat. Seeing that his troublesome dragon transformation blood essence couldn't even approach Xiao Yan, the Northern Dragon King's crimson pupils narrowed slightly. Despite his bloodlust from devouring so many, his inherently cautious nature kept him on guard. With Dragon Phoenix blood in your veins, you should taste the Dragon Slayer sword. The Northern Dragon King's eyes flashed as he stepped forward with lightning speed, appearing just before Xiao Yan. The massive blood-red sword in his hand brought a nauseating stench of blood as it slashed toward Xiao Yan's head. Netherworld Palm. Xiao Yan retreated slightly, casually unleashing a Netherworld Palm. The gigantic energy palm roared forth. Pathetic! The Northern Dragon King sneered, his blood-infused giant sword slicing through the energy palm, splitting it in half. He then swung the sword horizontally, sending 3 massive sword beams towards Xiao Yan with the speed of lightning. Faced with such a fierce assault, Xiao Yan's bone wings fluttered rapidly, narrowly evading the strikes. However, before he could stabilize, the Northern Dragon King attacked again, giving him no time to breathe. Outside the formation, the elders of Eastern Dragon Island watched Xiao Yan, who seemed to be at a disadvantage, with growing anxiety. If Xiao Yan fell, Eastern Dragon Island would surely face utter defeat, and the rampaging Northern Dragon King would bring doom to the entire primordial ancient dragon clan. In those tense gazes, Xiao Yan finally clashed head-on with the Northern Dragon King. The impact caused his blood to churn slightly, forcing him back several steps. He's barely reached the level of a 6-star Dosheng, Xiao Yan muttered, feeling the turbulence in his blood settle. Realizing that ordinary combat skills wouldn't yield significant results against such a formidable opponent, his eyes glinted with determination. It's time to try that move. Xiao Yan's eyes flickered as he suddenly withdrew his aura. His hands formed unfamiliar and intricate seals at an astonishing speed. At the same time, little E, within his body, opened her eyes and ascended, stopping between his brows. Her small hands mirrored Xiao Yan's, forming the same seals. Xiao Yan, you think you can fight me? Foolish. The Northern Dragon King sneered, not giving Xiao Yan any time. He swung his giant sword without hesitation, aiming directly for Xiao Yan's head. Human and flame fusion, destruction fire body. As Xiao Yan and Little Yi's hand seals simultaneously solidified, the tiny flame lotus in Xiao Yan's pupils began to spin wildly. An overwhelming, near-apocalyptic aura erupted from his body like a storm, stunning everyone. With that destructive aura bursting forth, Xiao Yan's body ignited. Pink flames filled every corner of his being, enveloping his skin, muscles, bones, and cells. Every part of Xiao Yan was consumed by the pink flames. The pink flames roared, and as they spread wildly, Xiao Yan's body began to turn crystalline and transparent. Through the flames, his internal organs could be seen, now covered in a pink, crystalline layer. His azure-red bone wings melted and transformed into wide, pink fire wings. From afar, Xiao Yan appeared as if he were made of a transparent pink glass, incredibly mystical. The destruction fire body is a technique that releases the energy of the heavenly flame to its extreme, merging it with the physical body. This requires near-perfect control over the heavenly flame, as it is exceedingly fierce. Even though Xiao Yan had refined it, the human body is ultimately too fragile. No one dared to use the heavenly flame to alter their physique lightly, not even Xiao Yan in the past. However, with Little Yi's emergence, this hidden danger was eradicated. Little Yi was connected to Xiao Yan's mind and body, almost as one entity. As the spirit of the heavenly flame, her control over the flames was unparalleled. She was perfectly suited to meet the stringent conditions required to form the destruction fire body. This was the first time Xiao Yan had used the destruction fire body since leaving the demon flame space. Yet, he was confident in its power. On a certain level, this technique turned him into a mobile destructive fire lotus, making his attacks as terrifying as the fire lotus itself. The only drawback was the immense dou qi consumption needed to maintain the destruction fire body, which Xiao Yan could only sustain for less than a minute, even with his current strength. A minute could pass in the blink of an eye, but for a true expert, it was enough to decide the outcome of a battle. The destructive aura suddenly sweeping out from the blood array caught the attention of the ancient dragon clan members outside. Shocked gazes immediately turned to Xiao Yan's position. What a terrifying aura! In less than 3 years, his strength has reached this level, Elder Zhuli said, looking at Xiao Yan with envy. When he first met Xiao Yan, he had been superior. Now, he had been left far behind. It seems the primordial ancient dragon clan has hope, other elders remarked, delighted. They had initially thought Xiao Yan would be unable to withstand the frenzied northern dragon king. But this scene gave them great relief. Ahead, Ziyin, who had been watching the situation, also showed a hint of joy. Xiao Yan's sudden outburst of aura reassured her greatly. You're putting on a show, but today, your fate is sealed. The Northern Dragon King's crimson pupils narrowed at Xiao Yan's transformation. Though he sneered, his wariness grew. Xiao Yan now posed a real threat, and any carelessness could come at a terrible cost. Quickly forming a seal with his blood-stained hands, he shouted, "Blood Dragon devours the heavens." With his shout, the massive blood array churned violently. Countless streams of blood began to gather above the Northern Dragon King's head, forming a colossal, menacing blood dragon larger than the entire Dragon Island. A deep, violent roar filled the air. As the blood gathered, the bodies of ancient dragon clan members on the island exploded, turning into blood mist that was absorbed by the blood dragon, making its body even redder. Elsewhere in the blood array, Kai Lin swiftly freed the bound ancient dragon clan members, throwing them out of the array. Despite her speed, many still turned into blood mist. Her brows furrowed, and with a wave of her hand, dozens of colorful beams shot out, increasing her rescue speed. The Dragon Transformation Demon Array is the supreme art of our ancient dragon clan, and those fools still think they can destroy it. Truly idiotic. The Northern Dragon King grew even more frenzied as he gazed at the massive blood dragon in the sky. With a sinister look at Xiao Yan, he transformed into a beam of blood light and shot into the blood dragon's enormous mouth. As the Northern Dragon King entered the blood dragon, its glow intensified. Dark red light coiled around its body, and its gigantic scales shimmered with a chilling, almost tangible gleam. The colossal eyes of the blood dragon, filled with boundless violent blood energy, stared coldly at Xiao Yan. Its enormous body began to move, and its monstrous mouth suddenly opened. A massive beam of blood light, hundreds of meters wide, shot forth with a terrifying, bloodthirsty aura, resembling a raging dragon, aimed directly at Xiao Yan. "Watch out!" Ziyin and the others cried out in alarm. The blood light carried a terrifying power that made their hearts pound. A direct hit could severely injure even a 5-star doshang. "Ha ha, Xiao Yan, since you've come to me, I'll gladly take your life." The Northern Dragon King's triumphant roar echoed through the void as the blood light pierced through space. Facing the Northern Dragon King's roar, Xiao Yan's eyes slowly opened. His pitch-black pupils had become as clear as crystal, and the flame lotus within them spun even more furiously. This power, Xiao Yan murmured, quickly assessing his current state. His pink, glass-like face showed a hint of intoxication. He had become one with the pure lotus demon flame. If he had sufficient dou qi, Xiao Yan could fully unleash the earth-shattering power of the pure lotus demon flame, capable of burning mountains and boiling seas with a mere gesture. This was the pinnacle of the heavenly flames, a perfect fusion of man and fire. In the entire dou qi continent, Xiao Yan was likely the only one capable of achieving this level. He exhaled a scorching breath, then looked up at the rapidly approaching blood light. A smile curved his lips as he made no attempt to defend himself. With a slight flutter of his fire wings, he transformed into a flaming meteor, flying directly toward the blood light amidst the astonished gazes of everyone present. The collision erupted in an instant. However, to everyone's shock, the terrifying blood light, capable of easily crushing even a 5-star dou qiong, dimmed rapidly the moment it made contact. In the eyes of the onlookers, the blood light, spanning across the void, began to rapidly fade from the point of impact. This virtualization spread at an incredible speed, with a meteor-like figure darting through it like lightning. Upon contact, the blood light shattered, collapsing like a crumbling dam. Under the incredulous gaze of the blood dragon, the blood light completely dissipated, and the flaming figure of Xiao Yan flew towards it like a meteor, growing larger in its eyes. I will not fail. The eyes of the blood dragon, now the Northern Dragon King, filled with madness as he faced Xiao Yan's ferocious assault. He had staked everything on this moment. Losing now meant no chance of recovery. Blinding blood light erupted from the massive body of the blood dragon, gathering at an alarming speed in its monstrous mouth. It transformed into a dark, foreboding blood bead about half a meter in size. The surface of the bead was covered in blood-like veins, and it exuded an overwhelmingly bloody scent throughout the void. As soon as the blood bead materialized, the Northern Dragon King's eyes grew wilder. He forcefully spat it toward Xiao Yan. With the bead's departure, the blood dragon began to collapse, as if all its energy had been drained by the blood bead. Dragon Soul Pearl. That beast didn't even spare the souls of his own clan. The ancient dragon clan members outside the blood array turned red-eyed upon seeing the blood bead. The Northern Dragon King had not only devoured their flesh, but also their souls. Ziyan's delicate body trembled slightly, her eyes filled with intense killing intent. Ignoring the others' anger, the Northern Dragon King fixed his blood-red eyes on Xiao Yan, who still made no move to dodge and collided with the blood bead. A cruel grin spread across his face. Xiao Yan, die for me, he roared.